Sports.
We are Blackmon. We are Arizona.
Our final Saturday home game of the regular season. It's the first day of autumn, and we're headed toward October. D-backs hanging on to dimming postseason hopes as they continue this series with Colorado. Join us for the D-backs and the Rockies on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly along the way. The roof and outfield panels expected to open up over the course of our ball game here tonight. As for the Diamondbacks postseason window, that is nearly shut, Bob. They are 6 back with only 8 to play.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks could use some fresh air coming in through the panels and the rooftop to try to get back into this race. It's been a real slog over the last couple of weeks. Dodgers and Rockies just continue to do what they've been doing, and the wild card race is starting to get out of hand as well. D-backs need to win everything the rest of the way.
Well, it's an odd night here tonight because we're not sure how to feel about this. Patrick Korbin is headed for free agency after this season, so there's a very good chance this is his final Chase Field start wearing a Diamondback uniform.
And you see where he ranks among pitchers in franchise history. Patrick's been one of the best, and it's been quite a ride. He came over as a highly touted prospect. Had an all-star season in 2013, Tommy John surgery in 2014, took about a year and a half to come back from that, and just now returning to the form that everybody thought he was going to have throughout his entire career. But can't take anything away from what Patrick Korbin has done for this organization.
A member of the Diamondbacks' 20-year anniversary all-time team, making tonight perhaps his final Chase Field start. We'll have it for you next on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Tire Pros of Arizona, everything rotates around you. By the NASCAR Can-Am 500 at ISM Raceway, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By First Watch, the Daytime Cafe. And by Gila River Hotels and Casino. The Card by Gila River Casino earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the Card today. It's game 2 of 3, our final look at the Colorado Rockies this year, and perhaps our final look at Patrick Korbin at home in a D-backs uniform. First pitch is next. Tigers taking the field with their Diamondback heroes as we are set to go at Chase Field. It's the second of a 3-game series, the D-backs and the Colorado Rockies. D-backs have dropped 10 of their last 13. They've yet to win consecutive games this month, only 5-14 in September, but still hanging on to hope with only 8 games to go. They are 6 back in the National League West. Taking on Colorado, the Rockies, very different story. They're only a game and a half behind LA. And here's their lineup. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
There's that ball of hair. Charlie Blackmon leading it off once again out in center field. DJ LeMahieu will be at second base. Nolan Arenado at third base. Matt Holliday, the veteran, getting a start in left field tonight. Ian Desmond will be at first base. Former D-back Chris Iannetta behind the plate tonight. David Dahl will be out in right field. Jerod Hampson at shortstop. And Antonio Senzatella, the right-hander, on the mound for the Rockies.
And for the Diamondbacks, your Ram truck starting pitcher is the left-hander Patrick Korbin. Scheduled for free agency this winter, so there's certainly a strong possibility that tonight could be Patrick Korbin's last start in a D-backs uniform here at Chase Field.
Well, and hopefully he can duplicate what he did last time out. Came away with a no decision in a Diamondbacks loss, but certainly pitched well enough to win that ball game. Hooked up with Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs in that game. Hendricks didn't give up a hit until the 4th inning. Patrick Korbin was matching him 0 for 0.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the Diamondback defense.
John Jay once again starting in right field this evening. A.J. Pollock will be in center. David Peralta over in right field. Eduardo Escobar at third. Nick Ahmed at short. Daniel Descalso once again at second base with Paul Goldschmidt over at first. Alex Avila doing the catching for lefty Patrick Korbin.
The crew chief is our plate umpire tonight. Marvin Hudson calls the balls and strikes. Chris Guccione is at first base. James Hoy's at second, and there's your third base umpire, Eric Cooper. Time bomb for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, if indeed this is Patrick's last start as a member of the Diamondbacks in this ballpark, make it a memorable one. He's had no-hitter stuff from time to time. He very nearly threw a no-hitter against the San Francisco Giants. I mentioned he was really good last time out against the Cubs. Do something spectacular.
D-backs trailing the season series with the Rockies. Colorado has a 9-8 lead with only 2 more games to play. Charlie Blackmon batting .287 and 27 home runs leads it off, and we are underway on a Saturday night in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Blackmon doubled and scored last night. His hitting streak, the longest active streak in the majors, is now up to 13 games. D-backs with only 8 games to go, 6 behind the Dodgers National League West Division lead. Torey Lovullo's club 6.5 behind the Cardinals for that second National League wild card spot. St. Louis beat the Giants earlier today, 5-4 in 10 innings. Tyler O'Neill hit a walk-off home run for the Cardinals. This one is out to shortstop. Nick Ahmed, close play. They get Blackmon at first. One down now. Here's DJ LeMahieu.
Second baseman, number 9, DJ
LeMahieu. He's in a similar situation in which Patrick Korbin finds himself. He's headed for the open market this winter. They're not sure if he'll be back in Colorado next year. .276, 15 homers. His numbers down this year. He's been on and off the DL 3 different times.
I haven't checked a lot of the rosters out there to see who's going to have a need at second base moving forward, but if you do have a need at second base, this guy might be the guy.
Hard to pick a player at his position or maybe any other who is the very definition of steady and dependable.
Very much so. Defensively can make all the plays necessary at second base, even though he's a big dude, 6'4", 220, has shown some pop this season. He has been an opposite field singles hitter throughout his career, but showing a little more thump this season.
LeMahieu had 2 hits last night. He doubled, drove in a run. He scored a run. And this year hitting over .330 versus left-hand pitchers. Lays off a fastball, and LeMahieu's ahead 2 balls and 1 strike.
He's one of those LSU Tigers. So many of those guys that come through that program seem to be major league ready at the time they signed that first professional contract.
Certainly the case with Alex Bregman, who we just saw in Houston last weekend. He's an LSU Tiger. Aaron Hill, former D-back, played there. The list goes on and on. He was able to check, says Chris Guccione. They couldn't get him to bite on that slider, and it's 3-1. Arenado on deck. Back in the 3-hole tonight against the lefty for Bud Black. Broken bat. Tough play for Ahmed, the backhander, and he can't complete the out. Goldie couldn't handle the short hop. Really difficult play for Nick. It was not hit very hard. Deep in the hole, it's short. And LeMahieu's aboard.
Yeah, Nick did everything he could do right there. Just can't get much on the throw as your momentum is carrying you toward foul ground. Yeah, it would have been a very tough play for Goldie over there, but we've seen him pick much tougher plays than that at first base.
So LeMahieu is at second. That's a single and an E6. Arenado the hitter. 294, 34 home runs. He singled and knocked in a run last night. Nice block by back there by Alex Avila. You don't expect, as you always say, a fastball in the dirt like that.
Catchers are always ready to block breaking balls or splitters or change-ups or anything that might end up in the dirt. You just don't anticipate that fastball in the dirt.
just fouled at third. And there's Mark Field. Well, might have to hang an E on that one for Mark. Mark Field of Dreams.
Well, Mark's used to kind of easing his way into the game.
And there's the great Ron Pennington, our Golden Glover, down the right field line tonight. Arenado slumping lately, but still hitting .366 against left-handers this year. LeMahieu at second and 1 out. Another fastball low. 7 games on this Rockies road trip so far. Just a .172 batting average for Arenado. And he admitted the other night he's in a bad stretch right now. Just not feeling good. Getting beat on pitches he doesn't normally get beat on. Here's the 2-1 from Patrick Korbin. Got the slider and it's 2-2.
I think if Arenado could just find a way to generate some energy. He's so flat.
Yes.
Oh man. I spent the morning with my twin granddaughters, and Nolan Arenado looks like they do after they've had a donut.
Off to dance class.
Oh boy.
Loaded
Watch
up
out.
on donuts. Put some tap shoes on him and we can complete the experience for you.
My ears are still ringing.
2-2.
I've described Arenado in the past as being hungry to hit. He looks like he just wants to run out of that batter's box and attack anything a pitcher throws up there.
And Holiday on deck. Patrick clearly trying to keep that fastball down against Arenado. He keeps missing low. See what he gets to attack here on 3-2. Long set of signs for Avila. Arenado in the 4-game series against the D-backs at Coors Field on the last road trip was a wrecking crew. He had 4 doubles, couple of home runs, knocked in 5. Bounced a slider up there. And Colorado has 2 on and 1 out for Matt Holliday. Didn't give Arenado much to hit right there.
Left fielder, number 7, Matt.
So a chance for the veteran Holliday, who struck out as a pinch hitter in last night's ball game. .313. He's homered twice. How much of an advantage, Bob, do you think the pitcher loses in these matchups when you play each other in your division 19 times a year?
Well, there's just no element of surprise anymore. I mean, Patrick Korbin for a while could fool hitters with that slower breaking ball, stealing strikes from right-handed hitters. Well, that's not a surprise anymore. There's plenty of video available on Patrick Korbin. The Rockies have seen a bunch of Patrick Korbin this year. They know exactly what he's going to try to do. It just becomes a matter of execution. As a pitcher, can you throw the ball where you want to throw it? Can you exploit the weaknesses of the Rockies hitters? And as a hitter, can you lay off that nasty slider down and in and make Patrick throw you something in the strike zone?
It wasn't an issue for Germán Marquez last night, who faced the Diamondbacks for the 6th time this year. That slider bounces and rolls away from Avila, and everybody moves up.
Well, I mentioned you always anticipate the slider, and Alex got in pretty good position right there. It just hit off the right side of that chest protector, got far enough away that LeMahieu and Arenado able to move up 90 feet each.
Second and third, 1 out now. Stu Cole coaching down there for the Rockies. Big RBI chance for Holliday. Fastball just a little low for Marvin Hudson. Didn't miss by much. Korbin wanted it. Behind 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, it's a huge swing pitch in this particular situation. Instead of being 1-2, if he gets the call, it's 2-1. It swings it from a really favorable pitcher's count to a semi-favorable hitter's count.
Comes back with another slider. Holliday has swung and missed badly on that pitch twice in this at bat, and Patrick is back even. Now Marvin Hudson is considered a very hitter-friendly umpire this year. His strike zone a little bit smaller than average. 2-2 on Holliday. Ian Desmond on deck. Well, he went full on Arenado, 3-2, walked him. Now it's a full count to Matt Holliday. Desmond would be next. He had 3 RBIs last night.
4th hitter of the game. 3 full counts already for Patrick Korbin.
And now the bases are loaded. He's walked 2 in the inning. Twenty pitches. He's only recorded 1 out so far. And the batter is Desmond, who's hitting .237 with 20 homers. Desmond had a big night last night. Singled twice, walked, drove in 3 runs. LeMahieu's at third. Arenado's at second. Holliday is the runner at first. Mentioned this last night. You could really use one right here. No batter in baseball hits the ball on the ground more frequently than Ian Desmond. He is #1 on the charts. That one is foul behind Tony Diaz at first.
And Desmond's not a dead pull hitter, which is why the Diamondbacks are playing their infield pretty much straight up at double play depth all the way around. We've seen Desmond shoot the ball to right field, especially with runners in scoring position, so you can't play any kind of a shift against the right-handed hitter with the bases loaded.
And Patrick, even though the strikeout totals have gone through the roof this year, is still at his core a ground ball pitcher, and always has been. But Desmond's been hot. He's hit safely in 12 of his last 14. LeMahieu, Arenado, Holliday, third to first. There's your ground ball. Escobar. They get 1. And they roll it. Oh boy, did he need that. D-backs coming up. Look tonight at your Ram truck starting pitcher for Colorado. It's Antonio Senzatella, 23-year-old right-hander. D-backs just beat Senzatella at Coors Field last week.
Yeah, beat him pretty good. Scored 4 runs on 7 hits in 6 innings of work. He also walked a couple of batters in that game. And once again, just like with Patrick Korbin and the Rockies hitters, the D-backs offense should be very well aware of what Antonio Senzatella is likely to do.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Diamondbacks batting order today.
Right fielder John Jay leading it off once again. Eduardo Escobar at third base. David Peralta will be out in left field. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Daniel Descalso, nice turn on that double play to get out of the top half of the inning. A.J. Pollock will be in center field. Nick Ahmed at short. Alex Avila catching, and lefty Patrick Korbin on the mound.
John Jay starts us off. I think. All right, now we'll start. Fastball is a strike. Senzatella will throw that pitch about 70% of the time. Jay at 274, 3 homers, couple of hits last night. Doubled and scored a run. D-backs 6 back of the Dodgers for the division, 6.5 behind the Cardinals for the wild card. Dodgers hosting the Padres later tonight. That's Rich Hill against rookie Jacob Nix after San Diego won last night's game in LA 5-3. Jerod Hampson, the shortstop. They retire Jay. A look at the Rockies defense tonight, brought to you by E.V. Marshall Jewelry.
Charlie Blackmon out in center field. Matt Holliday will be in left. David Dahl over in right. It'll be Nolan Arenado at third base. Jerod Hampson at shortstop. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Ian Desmond over at first with Chris Ionetta behind the dish tonight for right-hander Antonio Senzatella.
Here is Eduardo Escobar. Got that big double play started a moment ago. Another fastball, another strike. Escobar 268. He's got a career high 22 home runs. Singled and struck out twice last night. Low fastball, 1-1. Escobar having a slow month, hitting .212 in September. Diamondbacks bats have gone quiet this month. 5-14 in September. They've lost 10 of their last 13. Chased a changeup way out of the strike zone. 1-2. Senzatella doesn't throw a whole lot of changeups. He's not had a lot of luck developing that pitch. It's mostly fastball and slider. The occasional curveball. Like that. And as you can see, it's not quite where they'd like it to be.
Now the start against the Diamondbacks at Coors Field on that last road trip, he threw a lot of fastballs, which pitchers tend to do at Coors Field because you just can't get those breaking pitches to move the way you would like. So he challenged with a lot of heaters in that start.
Rolled to second. LeMahieu is there. Our Indeed player resume, the freight train, David Peralta, and what a year it's been. Against right-hand pitchers in the major leagues, only Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez in Boston have a better batting average. Two guys who might win an MVP award for the Red Sox in the AL. Peralta 297. Home run in his first at bat last night, his 29th of the year. And he's hit a few, but last night was impressive.
Ooh.
And he knew from the moment it left the bat it was gone. So did everybody else in the ballpark. I like the look back to the dugout after contact here.
Yeah, this one left a vapor trail.
David is homered now in 3 of his last 8 games. He needs one more for a 30 homer season. That would look nice in the back of the baseball card. There's that changeup, getting that a little closer in. 1-2 now.
And just like Tony Walters behind the plate for the Rockies last night, Chris Iannetta going through a series of signs even with nobody on base for the Diamondbacks. This is becoming more and more common practice around Major League Baseball, giving multiple signs even with nobody on base.
He's got his chart on there and everything, like a quarterback calling the plays. Senzatella able to knock it down, prevents it from getting into center, and they retire Peralta. We've played one. D-backs and Rockies, no score.
Out of a jam and leaves him unscathed here after that first inning. Jody Jackson with you here, and of course we've talked about the fact that this is his final home start and potentially his final start as a Diamondback after he is set to hit free agency this season. And I was talking to Archie Bradley. He told me he's the epitome of a Diamondback. He's had his ups and downs. We all know he's a two-time All-Star with Tommy John surgery in the middle. And Torey Lovullo and I spoke. I said 2016 was really hard for Patrick. He said, yes, when I spoke to him when I came on as the manager, he had many conversations before the two even met, and he said he felt misunderstood and underappreciated after being sent to the bullpen in 2016. And so Torey wanted no credit for Patrick's success, but I have to say, guys, Patrick certainly appreciated the trust, especially after starting really well in April of 2017, struggling in May. And Patrick told Torey, I appreciate the fact that you stuck with me through some of that, and look at what's happened over the last 2 years, guys.
He's come a long way, that's for sure, Jody. Long way back from where he was as an All-Star in 2013, then the Tommy John, and it's been a mountain to climb. Here's the former D-back Chris Iannetta, 215, 10 home runs. D-backs overload the third base side against Chris. Fastball a little low. Statcast AI powered by AWS.
You talk about that Tommy John surgery for Patrick Korbin. Missed the entire 2014 season. I think he only pitched in 15 games in 2015 at the very tail end of the season, and then 2016 was kind of a wash until late in the year when it looked like he was starting to regain his strength.
Iannetta has a base hit to start the second. Oh, we talked with Torey before the game today about Patrick Korbin, and Torey, I thought, put it very well. He said Korbin he's been a constant. You know, he's always been here, part of the Torey Lovullo regime and some previous ones certainly, but he's matured. He's pitched a lot of meaningful innings wearing a Diamondback uniform, and Patrick knows that this might be his last time out there. Very well-rounded young man. He's been through a lot. He's matured. He's been an outstanding friend to a lot of guys in that clubhouse, a terrific teammate. Here's David Dahl in right field today. Dahl singled and knocked in a run last night. He was the left fielder. And people may be wondering, well, you're already writing Patrick Korbin off. You're sending him off, and it's not a goodbye party just yet. But when you look at the numbers and the remarkable season that Patrick Korbin has had, he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to write him a very large check this winter. And hopefully it's the Diamondbacks. Not ruling that possibility out, certainly. I mean, right now Patrick has a 3.09 ERA. That's 7th best in the National League. He is 3rd in the league in strikeouts. 237 strikeouts in 192 innings. Only Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom have more strikeouts this year. So with that kind of resume, there comes a whole lot of zeros.
Oh yeah. Well, and I agree with you. Hopefully the Diamondbacks will find the wherewithal to keep Patrick Korbin in a Diamondbacks uniform moving forward, a anchor man in this rotation. But yeah, left-handed pitchers that throw strikes and have a pitch. Now Patrick has many pitches, but he has a pitch, that nasty slider that has put him on the map in the National League. In the major leagues, everybody knows about the Patrick Korbin slider.
Well, that was the Patrick Korbin fastball, and he gets his first strikeout. But we talked about this at the top of the show. Patrick, in his somewhat limited time here, has really made a mark. Look at where he ranks on the Diamondbacks all-time lists among pitchers.
And when you think of the two guys that are ranked first and second in just about every category, that's a pretty high bar that's been set by big RJ and Schill and Webby for that matter. But Patrick Korbin climbing up those franchise lists.
Jerod Hampson, the rookie shortstop now. They're still without Trevor Story, who's got that elbow injury, suffered on Monday. No word when he'll be back. There's the low fastball, just caught the strike zone, says Marvin Hudson. Yeah, Patrick this year just the 6th D-backs pitcher ever to get to 200 strikeouts in a season. Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Robbie Ray, Dan Herron, and Zach Greinke on that list. Fouled back, and it's 0-2. 3rd on the all-time list in strikeouts among Diamondbacks, behind only Randy and Webby. 56 wins in a D-back uniform, 4th all-time. Slider is a strikeout, the 2nd for Korbin, 2 down.
Hey, fans receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casinos.
The pitcher Antonio Senzatella now. Patrick begins the start tonight having thrown 192 innings. So he's on track, presuming he makes his final start next weekend in San Diego for his 2nd career 200 inning season, which, as Jody mentioned a moment ago, would be a tremendous milestone for Patrick. It would be his first season with at least 200 innings since 2013, which was before the Tommy John surgery. So in that sense, he's made it all the way back to all-star form. And already well into his first career 200 strikeout season. There's the slider, and it's 0-2. Well, Korbin gives up the leadoff single, then strikes out the next 3. D-backs and Rockies, no score. All brought to you by T-Mobile. Mentioned the Cardinals. This is Tyler O'Neill, a walk-off homer against the Giants' Mark Melanson at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Cardinals won it 5-4-10. Now a walk-off homer. Let's just let this play, guys, for a minute if we can. It's an exciting moment. But at what point do the walk-off celebrations just get completely stupid and senseless and out of hand? Because if we're not there yet, this one got us there.
Well, it's yeah, I mean, you wonder if it's going to take somebody getting injured, somebody pulling a hamstring, blowing out a knee, not to mention how much those jerseys cost. That's a tailored St. Louis Cardinals home uniform right there that just got ripped to shreds.
And the undershirt has to go too.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay for that, and now it's very uncomfortable for people who don't like to see half-naked players running around the field. Come on.
Yeah, so for the Diamondbacks, it's now 6.5 games behind St. Louis for the second National League wild card spot. The Cardinals are 2.5 back of Milwaukee for the right to host that wild card game.
Well, and the fun didn't end there for the Cardinals. They went for pizza after the game. A bunch of little leaguers out there jumping around. Are you kidding me?
I thought, ooh, that sounds good.
Well, it does sound good, but that's kind of what that's how you bribe little league players. Hey, if we win this one, we'll get pizza.
See, for us, it was Dairy Queen.
Okay.
But yeah, Goldie, 298, 33 home runs. First pitch swinging into the shift. Hampson in front of LeMahieu, and they get him.
I think back to a couple of years ago when Yasmani Tomas was on the disabled list with that mysterious abdominal injury. But when the Diamondbacks had a walk-off win, there he was hauling the Gatorade bucket out there over his head.
Oh.
Like a deadlift to go out and pour Gatorade on one of his teammates.
It's just part of the rehab, that's all.
I guess.
Daniel Descalso, 242 and 13 homers. I think it was maybe Chris Davis last night or the other night did one where he had a walk off and stopped about 5 feet in front of home plate, took his batting helmet off, pretended it was a basketball, and shot a free throw.
I did see that one.
Now that at least had some creativity to it. 1-1. But I mean that was just violent.
It's assault, for crying out loud.
Is. So the Cardinals have won. Dodgers later tonight host the Padres. That was an interesting ball game. You catch the end of that one last night. Kirby Yates, the closer for the Padres, had to bat in the 9th inning. Had a base hit, busted up the line, did a headfirst slide into first base, and had his big moment as an offensive player as Descalso strikes out. So hopefully the Padres can win again. That is Jacob Nix against Rich Hill at Dodger Stadium. Here's AJ. 256, 18 homers. AJ last night 0 for 4, struck out twice. And he's been scuffling a bit, just 1 for 18 right now in his last 5 games. That one hit was a home run here against the Cubs on Monday. Saw the Atlanta Braves clinch the National League East earlier today. They beat the Phillies 5-3. So Cleveland is clinched. Boston is clinched. Atlanta has clinched. I think that's it. Fastball got the corner, says Marvin Hudson. Antonio Senzatella, 23 years old. D-backs last Tuesday got him for 4 runs, 7 hits, and 6 innings in Denver. Senzatella bounced back in his previous start, got a win at San Francisco. That was last Sunday. Pitched pretty well, gave up just 1 run in 5 innings. Ahmed on deck. That's drifting toward the seats and on a play. Antonio Senzatella has never had any luck with the Diamondbacks. 7 career appearances, 3 starts, and he's 0-4 with an ERA over 7.5. Full count on AJ, 3-2.
You have to go a long way back for Senzatella. The last time he won a ball game on the road, May of 2017.
Loves Coors Field, I guess. And a fastball right by AJ. Foul tip by hung on. No score after 2. Roof and outfield panels closed for now. Expected to open up later on tonight over the course of our ball game. Patrick Korbin takes on the National League. That's brought to you by AARP. Highest swinging strike percentage in the league this year. Patrick, with that slider, is #1. Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man, leads off the 3rd. Korbin so far has walked 2. He struck out 3. That slow curveball is strike 1.
There's a little bit of a gauntlet here for Patrick Korbin, going through Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Arenado. Those 3 guys combined coming into play tonight. .308 batting average against Patrick, with a .600 slugging percentage and 18 extra base hits, including 8 homers. The rest of the Rockies lineup is hitting .220 with 2 extra base hits.
Well, Lee Story is out of the starting lineup tonight. He dodged that bullet anyway. That is foul at 3rd or 1st behind Tony Diaz, and there's Ron Pennington. And Blackmon has been a problem, as he always seems to be. 6 doubles, 5 homers, and 14 RBIs against the D-backs this year. He grounded out his first time up tonight. Patrick coming off a loss to the Cubs in his previous start. That was Monday here at Chase Field. Pitched pretty well. Deserved probably a better fate. Gave up just 3 runs, 5 hits and 6. And he plunked Blackmon with a fastball.
And just tried to overthrow one there. Catches Blackmon on the outside of the right knee that time, maybe just above the right knee.
Second baseman.
So the leadoff man's aboard to start the 3rd. Here's LeMahieu, who singled his first time up. Patrick 2 starts ago faced these Rockies. That was last Wednesday at Coors Field. Took a no decision in that start. Gave up 3 runs, 6 1/3. Somehow he gave up 10 hits in 6 1/3, but held the Rockies to only 3 runs. Fastball fouled away. And sunlight peeking through the windows here. A 5:10 local start. You can see it on Patrick's back there. So maybe in an inning or 2 they'll open things up for us. Had it open all night last night. Just gorgeous here. About that time of year where we can start to let the sunshine in once again. And it was just foul at 3rd. One more chance for Mark Field. Conservative play right there, but he made it. 0-2 on LeMahieu.
That's something you didn't see LeMahieu do very often before this season.
Pull it.
Look for a pitch inside and turn and burn. Try to jerk it down into that left field corner. You know, in that respect, he's actually become a tougher hitter to defend because he's pulling the ball more often, whereas in the past he was a dead opposite field hitter.
Blackmon on the run. No chance to get anything at second. Korbin gets the sure run, and Blackmon moves into second. Now here's Arenado.
Third baseman, Nolan Arenado.
He walked his first time up.
Patrick had a base open when he faced Arenado back in that first inning. Pitched him very carefully. Everything was down, 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 either at the bottom of the zone or farther down. Ended up walking Arenado. Also walked Matt Holliday, but then got the double play ball he was looking for from Ian Desmond.
Starts him off with a slider, 1-0. Arenado's certainly done his share of damage against us this year. 6 doubles, 6 homers. 17 games against the D-backs. He's knocked in 14 runs. Blackmon at second, 1 out. Fastball just high enough for Marvin Hudson, 1-1. Giving Arenado a fair amount of fastballs, but as you mentioned, Bob, nothing really hittable. They're ever either down just below the strike zone or off the plate away.
Well, for a guy who is hungry to hit, he's likely to chase those pitches. That's why I would assume that's why Patrick is trying to work around the edges, especially the bottom edge of that strike zone, hoping to get Arenado to chase something just out of the zone, roll over and hit a ground ball somewhere. Especially with runners in scoring position, Nolan Arenado will take his walks. He's usually a pretty disciplined hitter, but if you put a duck on the pond out there, that strike zone gets a little bit larger. He wants to drive that runner in.
50 pitches, 30 strikes. He's walked 2, struck out 3. Got another fastball from Patrick that time. Blackmon really dancing around back there. Arenado lays off the slider. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matt Holliday would be next. He walked his first time up. Blackmon a moment ago started jumping up and down and dancing around. Making a lot of noise, as Torey Lovullo likes to refer to it. Trying to dig that slider out of the dirt. It stays 2-2. Arenado had to leave a game against the Dodgers August 10th, had a shoulder injury. Then didn't start their next 2 games, and then was the DH in the following series at Houston, so he stayed away from third for several games. And he hasn't talked a lot about the shoulder injury, if it's still bothering him or not, but since he left that game August 10th, he's been about a .250 hitter. He's not done a whole lot. They got Story, who's definitely banged up with that bad elbow. Arenado may or may not still have a shoulder problem. And Bud Black's team fighting for their postseason chances. Game and a half behind LA. They are 2 games behind the Cardinals for that second wild card spot. There's Trevor Story, who injured his elbow on Monday. MRI came back clean, but he still got some discomfort in there. Not sure when he'll be back. A fastball up, and it's full 3-2. He's worked it full on Arenado both times now. Patrick very deliberate tonight. He's taking his time out there. Oh, pretty good low fastball. A little too low for Marvin Hudson. He's walked Arenado for the second time tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious Patrick wants to work him down. Notice every pitch in this sequence down, 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 except for this one. Number 4 elevates a fastball right there, gets a foul tip, and right back down below the bottom of the zone again until pitch number 8 of the sequence coming up right here. Elevates a fastball once again, but just can't get Arenado to nibble at that fastball. Looked like it might have caught the bottom of the zone. There are nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Well, Patrick was in a jam in the first inning, got a double play ball to get out of it. He's got 2 on, 1 out for Holliday. Boy, Holliday has it. He looks like so far he might never hit that slider. He's missed badly.
Well, don't feel like the Lone Ranger, Matt. That's happened to a lot of National League hitters this summer with that Patrick Korbin slider.
Blackmon the runner at second, Arenado at first, 1 out. Boy, Avila's going to earn that paycheck tonight.
In an odd kind of way, the better a pitcher gets, the harder he is to catch.
That's well put.
You know, that hard slider down, down, down. Once Patrick kind of got a handle on it and realized how effective that pitch can be if he can just pound it down at the bottom of the zone or lower. But that puts a lot of pressure on the guy behind the plate to make sure that slider doesn't get through.
Patrick had a wild pitch in the first inning. Runners moved up to second and third. They were loaded, and he got the double play ball to get out of the first. Again, Blackmon really jumping around back there behind Korbin. Stop, start, stop, start.
It's something the Rockies did against Zach Godley. I mean, they have some speed. They have some adventurous base runners, and they're not afraid to go out there and risk getting thrown out on the bases if they feel they can exploit something against an opposing pitcher.
Fastball's low, 2 balls and 1 strike on Matt Holliday. Holliday only 21 games with Colorado since his return to the Rockies near the end of last month, back at the age of 38. Did not have a job in the spring or for most of this summer before he finally came back to Colorado near the end of July. Hitters count here 2-1. Went back to that slider. He swung and missed at that pitch 4 times already tonight. And it's there if you want to go there one more time. Desmond, who hit into that double play to win the first, is on deck. Well, they tried the slider that time. He got a piece of it. He's on a 20 pitches per inning pace right now. A little more than that, actually. Got the call from Marvin Hudson. That fastball was well inside. Matt Holliday has a right. He's got a beef right there. Let's go down to Jody.
Well, guys, the slider a big part of that strikeout as Matt Holliday swinging and missing. Alex Avila told me today it's great because guys know it's coming. They just can't hit it. And he said he hears a lot of chatter when guys leave the box saying, what was I swinging at? They can't tell. They can't see it.
Well, that's the key, Bob, right? It looks like a fastball coming out of the hand.
Yeah, and it looks like a strike coming out of Patrick Corbin's hand, but so many times they'll chase it below the zone like that. But in their eyes, they're seeing fastball middle of the plate out of Patrick's hand, and the ball ends up in the dirt by their feet.
And we hear all the time about Patrick's slider and what a weapon it is, but is that what makes it more special than others?
You'd have to talk to some hitters, but yeah, I would assume it's just the illusion of strikes that he gives you with that pitch. It looks like it's going to be in the strike zone, and hitters are ready to hit strikes, whether they're fastballs, sliders, changeups, ready to hit mistake strikes.
Here's a look from Moscam. That was the fastball away, 1-1.
I mean, you say the same thing about the Yoshi Hirano changeup. You know, that split changeup that just falls off the strike zone. It looks like it's right in the middle of the plate, and guys are invariably out in front and over the top of it. They know it's coming. He knows he's going to throw it, and they still can't hit it.
And as we showed you a moment ago, Patrick leading the league in swinging strikes this year. Like that. 1-2. Well, he got out of a bases loaded mess in the first. Stranded a leadoff single in the second. And now trying to escape 2 on and 2 outs here in the third. Score one more for Alex Avila. Missed inside with a fastball, and now it's a full count, 3-2. Chris Iannetta, the on-deck hitter for the Rockies. A lot of full counts for Patrick so far tonight. This will get the runners started. Blackmon from second base, Arenado from first. And there they go. Missed in with a fastball, and Korbin has walked 4 now through 2 2/3. And just like the first inning, he's got bases loaded.
Mike Butcher making his way out to the mound just to give Patrick a little bit of a blowout there. This has been quite an extended inning here after the hit by pitch to Charlie Blackmon to start it. A couple of walks with 2 outs in the inning here. Big at bat in the ball game upcoming.
So far tonight, he's walked 4 and hit a batter. Iannetta, who singled to lead off the second, will be the hitter for the Rockies. And of course, not only has Iannetta seen plenty of Patrick Korbin's slider, he's caught a whole bunch of them as well. Blackmon at third, Arenado at second, Desmond at first. 2 outs. One more for Alex back there.
And one thing with the opposing catcher at the plate here in a bases loaded 2-out situation, defensively the infielders can all back up an extra step, giving themselves a little bit more range should that ball be hit between 2 defenders. Might be able to cut it off and get an out somewhere on the infield. If you had a faster runner at the plate, you might be forced to play in a little bit more. Nick Ahmed is actually starting out in the outfield grass in left field. He creeps right up to the edge of it as the pitch is being delivered, and Daniel Descalso with his heels on the cut of the grass up the middle.
One-0 is in the dirt, a fastball low. Patrick behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch count is getting awfully chunky. That's a base hit. Blackmon is home. They're waving Arenado. Desmond stops at third, and it's 2-0 Colorado. Iannetta 2 for 2.
Not a poor pitch. Fastball down on the outer third of the plate, but Iannetta just stays right on it. Lines it into that gap in right center to spot the Rockies to a 2-0 lead here in the top of the third.
Batter now is the right fielder David Dahl, who struck out his first time up. D-backs have just not been able to generate any kind of momentum this month. They have yet to win consecutive games in September. They're 5-14 this month. 6 back in the NL West with only 8 to play, and now they trail at 2-0. That's a roller into right. That gets Desmond home with the 3rd Colorado run.
Well, the thing you start thinking about is the way the Diamondbacks offense has misfired over the last 2 or 3 weeks. You just wonder how long can you leave Patrick Korbin in there. I mean, 3 runs might be insurmountable at this point.
Well, last night they got 2 in the first on the Peralta homer, and that was it. You have to go back to the understudy game to find the last time they scored more than 2 runs in a ball game. Of course, the first 2 games against the Cubs, they scored only 1 each. Here's the shortstop, Hampson. He struck out his first time up. Dodgers and Padres are underway in LA. Rich Hill against Jacob Nix. San Diego won last night 5-3. Cardinals beat the Giants earlier today on a walk-off homer by Tyler O'Neill. Hampson, the start at shortstop for the second time in the series. He walked and struck out twice last night. 23-year-old rookie. He's been up and down from the minor leagues 3 different times this year.
Dirt dogging tonight behind the plate. We talk about it all the time. You know, when certain pitchers take the mound to start the ball game, it's going to be a busy night behind the plate, and Patrick just doesn't have the same kind of feel for that slider tonight as we've seen recently. So Alex has had to block a boatload of pitches in the dirt already.
Hampson is the 8th man to bat here in the Colorado 3rd. And he's not been able to throw his fastball for strikes very often. Now he's trying to be careful with some of these hitters, and Patrick generally is around the edges of the strike zone with his fastball anyway. He doesn't throw it for a strike in the zone all that often. But it's gotten him behind in counts all night long. It's 3-1 here.
Yeah, 6th 3-ball count of the game.
That one's a base hit into center. Iannetta coming home. Dahl heads for 3rd, and it's 4-0 Rockies.
We had Hampson chasing those slow breaking balls and sliders his first at bat and the first few pitches of this at bat, but gives him a fastball out over the plate, and Hampson guides it back into center field. On that merry-go-round now, first to third, first to third, first to third.
The pitcher, Senzatella, struck out his first time. Rockies in the ball game last night batted around in the 8th inning. They scored 4. Senzatella, the 9th man to bat here in the Colorado 3rd. Randall Delgado starts to get loose in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. There's TJ McFarland down there. TJ's been shut down for the rest of the year with that inflammation. He's got some bone chips that may need to be addressed in the offseason. Fastball is a strike, and it's 1-2. 80 pitches for Patrick Korbin, only 44 for strikes. Hampson off with a pitch from first. He can really run. Fouled away.
Boy, 3 consecutive hits by the Rockies 6, 7, and 8 hitters in this inning. But the real damage was done at the beginning. The hit by pitch and a couple of base on balls to the guys at the top of the order, setting the table for those 6, 7, and 8 hitters to drive home runs with their singles. Hampson off with a pitch again. That is a strike 3.
But the Rockies send 9 men to the plate, 4 score. D-backs trail it 4-0. And here at Chase Field, fans, now's the time. Lock in your 2019 season ticket package. They're on sale right now. You'll get guaranteed seats to all the big matchups next year. Our home opener next season is against the Boston Red Sox. The Yankees come to town as well. Give us a call, 602-462-4600, or log on to dbacks.com. Well, we have big congratulations to pass along to our tremendous colleagues at Fox Sports Arizona. Jody Jackson, just a few moments ago, won an Emmy Award for her job as an anchor and a reporter. Congratulations to Jody. And Brad the Big Dog Weimer and Brian Moss, inventor of the Moss Cam, have also won Emmy Awards tonight at the Rocky Mountain Emmy Awards show. So congratulations to Brad and Brian and Jody. Job well done.
Well deserved. We know how hard they all work at their jobs, and it's nice to be recognized once in a while.
You better recognize. Here's Nick Ahmed, who will lead off the third against Antonio Senzatella, who suddenly has a 4-0 lead. All the folks who work so hard behind the scenes to bring you D-backs baseball here on Fox Sports Arizona. They get here well before Bob and I do, and they stay much later. Our outstanding crew all over the ballpark. Nick in at shortstop again tonight. 241, 16 home runs. Took it 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. Here's the Senzatella curveball, 0-2. Dodgers have taken a 1-0 lead against the Padres in the first inning.
Jock Peterson, number 24.
He's heating up. You know, the problem with Jody winning an Emmy now is she's going to become even more difficult. It's going to go to her head. Superstar treatment. It's already pretty bad.
That whole diva thing.
Oh yeah. It's like J-Lo or Beyonce, one of those things. You know, we have to have certain snacks available in the booth, the wrong color M&Ms, and it's just a whole mess. Yeah.
You know, my staff has been nominated several times for regional Emmy Awards.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for parole.
Well, that too. And I always call in and say, don't give them anything.
You got to
stop to pay them. They'll start thinking they're really good at what they do, and we'll create a monster up here.
It's like working at Scrooge and Marley. Bounce to third. Arenado right there. Well, for a guy with a bad shoulder, he still throws it awfully hard. One down in the third. Alex Avila now. Alex 7 homers this year. D-backs still looking for their first base hit. Not a whole lot of offense last night. 2 runs, 8 hits.
Well, Alex had a little bit of a run there after the All-Star break where it looked like he was starting to heat it up with the bat a little bit, but with the 3-man rotation that the Diamondbacks were using behind the plate at the time, as quickly as it came back to him, it went away. Just having trouble finding holes right now, making good solid contact.
There's a look at the defense against him. Alex last year split the season between the Tigers and the Cubs and had a nice year offensively. 264, hit 14 homers. 2 down here in the third. Hampson makes the play from shortstop with a shift on. And now they will hit for Patrick Korbin. So Corbin's night is over. Patrick Kivlehan will be the batter. So Patrick is out of the game before his first time in the order. And we get a look at Kivlehan, who of course tripled twice and scored twice in that understudy game Wednesday. In the win over the Cubs, he's 3 for 6 so far. So if this is indeed Patrick Corbin's final start at Chase Field in a D-back uniform, it was one he'd like to forget.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our key to the game was make it memorable, and Patrick wasn't able to do that tonight. Just off enough with that slider that the Rockies were able to lay off some that were down out of the zone. And when he made mistakes in the zone, they made him pay. A couple of walks, actually 4 walks in the ball game, and a hit batter. Just an off night for Patrick tonight.
I'm sure he's disappointed, but he'll get likely one more start over the weekend at San Diego, where we finish up the season. Senzatella starting to get a little more comfortable now with his secondary pitches, the slider, the curveball, the changeup. Starting to see more breaking balls. He's a guy that usually sticks with that fastball. Kivlehan lays off. Patrick acquired from the Mets earlier this month. Had a good year with their AAA club in Las Vegas. Hit .314 there with 20 home runs. Last year, just over 200 plate appearances with the Cincinnati Reds. Hit .208 last season, 9 homers. John Jay would be next, the leadoff man. And Senzatella gets his 3rd strikeout. He's set down all 9 he's faced and leads it 4-0. in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Roof and outfield panels just open. D-backs trail the Rockies. Don't forget you can play along in our D-backs 50-50 charity raffle. It's presented by the Arizona Lottery. Your chance to win half the pot. Help the kids in our community. Get your tickets online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/5050 raffle. And stay tuned for the D-backs live post-game show where they give you the winning number. Well, Patrick Korbin in what might be his final start for the Diamondbacks at Chase Field. Goes only 3 innings. Randall Delgado out to start the 4th against Charlie Blackmon. So quite a contrast. Korbin goes only 3, gives up 4 runs, walks 4. And Antonio Senzatella has worked 3 perfect innings for the Rockies. 9 up, 9 down. There's his strike. Blackmon last time up was hit by a pitch. He scored a run in that 4-run Rocky 3rd. He leads the National League in runs scored.
There were a lot of rumors earlier this season about Patrick Korbin's impending free agency and where he might end up. And being a New York native, of course, the New York media jumped on there and said, oh, Patrick Corbin's going to be a Yankee next year. Can you imagine Patrick Korbin in that slider pitching to Gary Sanchez?
That could get ugly.
Oh, he'll lead the world in wild pitches, and Sanchez will lead the world in pass balls.
Yeah, he's going to need a valet catcher if he does sign with the Yankees. Hopefully he stays here. Yeah, that could get ugly. Gary Sanchez, a tremendous hitter, as a defensive catcher, not so much. Patrick's final line tonight. He walked 4, hit a batter, struck out 5. Blackmon dunks one into right field. That brings up DJ LeMahieu.
Second baseman, DJ LeMahieu.
He has singled and grounded out. So Charlie Blackmon now with a 14-game hitting streak, the longest in the majors right now, the longest active streak. Well, there was a long time where it looked like Charlie Blackmon might leave Colorado. We're talking about off-season moves, and do you sign a guy, do you trade him? Blackmon did not have a contract for the longest time. He was headed for free agency after this year, but they finally stepped up and made a long-term investment in Charlie Blackmon, gave him a 6-year $108 million deal back in April to finish up his career in Colorado, which was interesting. They went 6 years on a guy who is now 32 years old, and he certainly has enough power to transition to a corner outfield spot if he loses a step or two as a center fielder. So they've had to make some decisions on where the money is going to go in Colorado. Blackmon takes off. LeMahieu hits a fly ball to right. Jay is there. Blackmon back to first. So they re-sign Blackmon. They're, I'm sure, try and re-sign Arenado. They may let LeMahieu walk. It's all about, you know, you look long term. Where do they allocate the money, and who gets it?
And what do you have in your minor league system to possibly plug those holes that are created when you decide where that money goes? And Charlie Blackmon, as we all know, a huge fan favorite in Colorado there at Coors Field. And sometimes, you know, your vision as a front office can get a little clouded by those fan favorites, and it's hard not to like Charlie Blackmon. He's done a lot of really good things for the Colorado Rockies, but
yeah,
they decided that was worth the money to bring him back to certainly appease the fan base, and the production that Charlie brings every year, they'd like to think is going to continue into his 30s.
And so now the focus shifts to Arenado, who is right now playing under a 2-year, $29 million contract that ends after this year. So he got paid as that one goes through Avila, at least in a short-term sense. Blackmon moves up, but Arenado has one more year of arbitration and then becomes a free agent after next season. And so they'll have to figure out what he's going to cost and if they can keep him, because he's going to get a lot of money. He's only 27. So you figure Blackmon got all that money at age 32. What is Arenado going to get at, say, age 28? That's a tough call. Fastballs a strike, 1-2. I mean, Blackmon is a fan favorite, and well, he should be, and Trevor Story's emerging as an MVP candidate, but he's their Goldie. This is the face of the franchise in Denver, and that gets extra pricey when you're that guy for one particular team in a particular market. Rounded to second. Descalso knocks it down, recovers. Blackmon into third. 2 outs.
The day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Left fielder Matt Holliday.
There's Matt Holliday. It was interesting to see Matt Holliday come back at the age of 38. Decided he wanted to keep playing. Of course, he was in Colorado for a long time, briefly in Oakland, then he was in St. Louis for 8 years. That contract expired, went to the Yankees last year, had a decent season as a Yankee last year, hit 19 homers. And it looked like he might be done, but here he is with the Rockies, helping them try and get into the playoffs here at the end of September. Playing in some meaningful games. When you left the Blue Jays, did you decide that was it? Was there never any thought, well, maybe I'll call the guy and see if there's something, maybe I'll come back?
Well, the Blue Jays made it very clear that I was no longer welcome there.
What are you saying?
I did have some options, though. After the Blue Jays released me, I was actually talking to 3 different ball clubs about coming back, you know, for the final couple months of the regular season.
Didn't work out.
I ended up coming back with the Giants, played briefly in the big leagues, a little bit in the minor leagues, and then hung it up.
D-backs trail it 4-0.
for the first base hit. Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Saluting the Rockies tonight, they established a major league home attendance record back in 1993. 4,483,350 fans at Mile High Stadium. They averaged over 55,000 fans a game that year.
They filled that place, the old football stadium. They got a lot of Rockies fans in Denver. They're well supported. But they've been around 26 years now. They have never won a division title. Right now they are only a game and a half behind the Dodgers for the NL West lead. John Jay leads off the D-back fourth against Antonio Senzatella, who has set down all 9 batters he's faced so far. Rockies have never won the division. They've never made it to the postseason in back-to-back years. Of course, they lost a wild card game here last season. Bud Black trying to get back to October. 1.5 back in the division. It's 2 in the wild card for Colorado. LeMahieu gets over there. 10 up, 10 down for Senzatella. Eduardo Escobar grounded out his first time up. Rockies, after this series, it's been a long road trip for them through the division. They lost 2 of 3 at the Giants. They got swept at Dodger Stadium. They're playing 3 here over the weekend before they go home to finish up the year. Escobar hits one a mile high. Dahl at the track, and he's got it in right. Rockies will finish up against the National League East. They have 4 against the Phillies and 3 versus Washington. All at Coors Field in Denver. There's David Peralta. D-back still looking for their first base runner tonight. Senzatella getting a little more confident with those breaking pitches. That was a pretty good curveball right there. Tap to second. LeMahieu charges. Underhand scoop. 4 perfect innings for Senzatella. The Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 4-0. Roof is open here at Chase Field. D-backs trail the Rockies as we start the 5th. Starting in week 4, Fox is the new network home for Thursday night football, and the schedule on Fox this year is loaded with can't miss matchups. Thursday night football comes to Fox starting in week 4. Now it's a game. Here's again Desmond, who walked and scored his last time up, part of that 4-run Rockies third against Patrick Korbin. Randall Delgado out to start his second inning in relief. You know, found a couple of items in the old mailbox.
Oh, nice.
Recently. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think people are. Somebody saw you get a pen. Remember that great multicolored pen you got?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a letter from Judy and PJ in surprise. They sent me some pens. Said, Steve, we felt bad for you when Bob received the fancy scoring pen from a listener. So we thought you'd enjoy these gel pens from the 99-cent store.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah, so they went down there, Judy and PJ in surprise, and they dropped 99 cents and got me some colored. They're extra fine points.
Oh,
so this is the good
really
stuff.
Nice, yeah.
So thank you guys for that. I think it's always good when the audience feels sorry for you. Fastball just misses in on Desmond. It's a full count, 3-2.
I just like that the fans are listening from time to time. You know,
it's true. We appreciate it.
I'm telling you, that 4-color pen, multiple uses in all different kinds of ways, depending on what your livelihood is. I'm sure there's a future for a 4-color pen in your career.
Fastball from Delgado missed. Desmond has walked twice so far. Oh, I got another one. It wasn't a pen. I got from Tony Oldham in Peoria. And Tony writes, as a 73-year-old retiree, I've got nothing else to do but watch baseball games. And so he does that. But he says Bob and Steve enclosed as one box of colored pencils, 6 rubber bands, and assembly instructions. So he's kind of having some fun with this. Tony in Peoria. This is a slow tapper. Escobar charges. They'll have to settle for 1. Now he sent us this box of colored pencils and a whole bunch of rubber bands. So what Tony said we need to do is you assemble the pencils like in a little ball, wrap the rubber bands around them, and that can be a multicolored pen. It's pretty pragmatic of him, I thought, but keep up the good work. Hope the Diamondbacks play well. Tony Oldham from Peoria. Thank you, Tony.
I think you ought to go ahead and do that and let me know how it works.
Yeah, thank you for your support. And they'll put Dahl on now and work to Hampson.
You know, for me, scoring a baseball game, it's a little bit like the flip down sunglasses. For me, the 4-color pen was made for scoring baseball games, just like flip downs are made for ball players.
Yeah, you don't walk around just around town wearing flip down shades.
No,
that wouldn't look good. Hampson had an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. 1 out. Desmond at second. Dahl at first. There you go. Everybody has their own system. Some people just like the straight pencil. They don't use colors like we do. Like I use colors. I highlight for walks and red for hits and green for RBIs and blue for strikeouts and orange for double plays. There's a whole system up here. So it's a good thing we have all these new colored pencils that Tony sent us, and of course Judy and PJ in surprise with those nice gel pens. That's fouled away.
Yeah, didn't you tell me the other day the governor still has every scorecard from every game he's ever called for the Diamondbacks, going all the way back to the beginning?
20 years worth of scorebooks. The governor, Greg Schulte, working D-backs radio just to our right here.
And I started to tell the story about Harry Carey the other night when I worked with Harry in Chicago. He used to take the insert that they put in the scorecard, a little piece of paper that had the 2 lineups on it, and Harry would score the game on that, and at the end of the day he'd crumple it up and drop it in the trash can.
No need to look back. In the air to center for AJ. Everybody on the bases stays put. 2 down.
Follow the race to the postseason on MLB.tv for $25.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB At-Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this limited time offer.
Of course, our fans are always helping out with suggestions and sending us stuff and ideas and pens and pencils. We had a letter from Canada. Yeah, I thought you might want to take a look at this. Here's the pitcher Senzatella. We got a letter from Victoria Thompson in Toronto, who is 66, big baseball fan. And she watches all the Diamondback games on MLB.tv. She uses that app, which is tremendous. She's, of course, still a big Blue Jays fan, but she writes us and says the D-backs are her National League team. And we will be in Toronto next year, which I'm looking forward to. That's an amazing city and a great ballpark, the Rogers Center. And, of course, last time we were there, we were kind of joking around, but half serious about getting your number retired. That's just beyond the reach of Delgado. And so they've cooked up a little something for you in Toronto. We'll have that when we come back. D-backs trail the Rockies 4-0. Mentioned the letter we got from Victoria M. Thompson in Toronto, Ontario. Big D-backs fan, watches all the games on MLB.tv. There's the great Ralph Kelso working our high home camera. And Victoria loves our Golden Glovers with their, as she writes, jazzy monikers. She loves the Freight Train theme, the Jumbo Jacks, the Crunchy Beef Tacos, and she's a big Bob Brenly fan. Who isn't? And she writes us, I am pleased to report that Bob's staff at the Toronto branch office are working feverishly on the Brenly banner celebration when your number is finally retired at the Rogers Center next year. And here's what the staff has done. They have done a mock-up, if you will, of the Brenly banner, your number retired in Toronto, which you wore for a brilliant half season.
Right next to Robbie Alomar, a Hall of Famer. How about that?
So our many thanks to Victoria M. Thompson in Toronto, Ontario, who says, keep up the good work. Go D-backs. from Canada.
Wow, I didn't know I had an international staff.
You were worldwide.
My.
Nice work. I don't think that was a mock-up. I think that was a photograph of the actual banner that is hanging in place.
We'll find out.
We'll be there next year. Looking forward to it. Antonio Senzatella, 4 perfect innings so far. He holds a 4-0 lead. And Goldie will start off the 5th. He grounded out his first time up. That sure looked real.
I'm sure it is.
Well, yeah.
Just making sure it fits right.
You know, everybody these days have figured, oh, they just photoshopped that. I'm not sure that they did. I think that's the actual banner.
Well, I'm glad it didn't fall off the truck on the way to the Rogers Center, like the one that was destined for Fenway.
Hey, Fitzy, what is that? So my man here crosses 3 lanes of traffic, put in the car, says that's for Fenway Park. And in the interest of, you know, recrimination, we're thinking, hey, they could do the right thing because we got sources. We could have put it on eBay.
Yeah.
How about those guys? Those guys were the most Boston thing ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, just Google Fenway Park banner.
There they are. No, that's not them. Yeah, the Red Sox 2018 division championship banner apparently fell off a truck.
Yeah. On
a highway in Somerville, which is Bostonese for Somerville. And so these 2 guys from Malden were driving through Somerville and they found it, and they said they found it on the side of the road in a paper bag, and it was the banner which was on its way to Fenway to be hung. And they found it, and eventually they basically tried to extort the Red Sox
pretty much
and hold the banner hostage, and eventually they got nothing, and that's the deal. But it was like a Saturday Night Live skit.
It really was.
I mean, if you got Affleck and Damon, they couldn't have done any better than those 2 guys. My man here crosses 3 lanes of traffic, puts it in the car. 3-2 to Goldie. That's out of play. Did Michael Brenly, he wasn't involved in that at all, was he?
No. I made sure of that. No fingerprints on the banner whatsoever.
I saw great pictures of their champagne celebration. I'm sure he was right in the middle of that.
Yeah, I saw him a couple times in the background, you know, kind of trying to stay out of the line of fire, which is impossible, as you know, down in the clubhouse. Once that champagne and the beer starts flowing, look out.
Line to center. Blackmon has got it. A sliding, somewhat awkward grab by Blackmon, but he keeps the perfect game alive. 1 down in the 5th. That one kind of knuckled on him.
That ball was hit pretty crisply out there to center field. Charlie has to make an adjustment right at the end. Ends up going down to a knee to make the play right there. I think you're right. That ball probably knuckling as it got out there to Charlie Blackmon, a couple 100 feet from home plate.
Daniel Descalso now a strikeout victim his first time up. Dodgers now have a 3-0 lead over the Padres. They're in the 3rd in LA. That's Jacob Nix versus Rich Hill. Actually now make it 6-0 Dodgers after they lost to San Diego last night.
I mentioned the Jock Peterson home run earlier in the ball game. Manny Machado with number 36 on the season.
You know, Machado's been good for them, but he has not at all, I don't think, been a difference maker for Los Angeles. Not that he's been bad or disappointing, but he's been okay. I don't think he's had the impact they thought he might. And Eduardo Escobar has had an impact here, certainly, in Arizona after the D-backs lost Jake Lamb for the year.
I'm sure Dodger fans would argue that it's not a coincidence that when Manny Machado came on board, Yasiel Puig heated up, Justin Turner heated up. Some of the guys around him in the lineup started to be more productive, and you know, Machado may have something to do with that, being more willing to go after guys to try to avoid Machado, but I don't know.
Descalso strikes out for the 2nd time. That's 4 for Senzatella, who has set down all 14 Diamondbacks he's faced. There's AJ. He struck out to end the 2nd. Let's see, Manny Machado for the Dodgers going into tonight, 263. 11 home runs, 32 RBIs in 57 games. It's good, but you know, it's not like they got Machado and all of a sudden just went crazy. So a discouraging night in that sense for Colorado. Even if they hang on and win this one, they will not pick up any ground in either the division or the wild card. Cardinals already won, and I'm guessing the Padres won't come back from 6-0 down in LA, but you never know. High fly ball, deep left field. Holiday at the wall, and it's gone. AJ breaks up the perfecto. D-backs on the board.
It's a curveball from Senzatella, stays right in the middle of the plate for AJ that time. Well, you saw that front foot come down, but the hand stayed back. Gets it high in the air to left field. Holiday looked like he had a shot at it there, but got back to the wall and couldn't get up that high.
That's a free jumbo jack tomorrow at Jack in the Box with a purchase of a large drink. AJ's second home run on this homestand. Ahmed hits the first one up the middle. LeMahieu gets over there, and that ends the inning. But the D-backs get on the board. They trail Colorado 4-1. '19th home run of the year. It's 4-1 Rockies. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Our series finale here tomorrow afternoon. Zach Godley on the mound for the D-backs against lefty Kyle Freeland, who's had a tremendous season for the Rockies. 15 wins and a 2.95 ERA. D-back live pregame show comes your way at 12:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Jimmy Sherfy is on from the Diamondback bullpen. He'll start the 6th. Charlie Blackmon will lead it off for Colorado.
Diamondbacks finally broke through against Senzatella in that bottom half of the 5th inning. Now Jimmy Sherfy's job to put a couple zeros up there on the board. Give your offense a chance to possibly climb back into this ball game. It's only a 3-run game.
Jimmy threw 7 pitches in the ball game last night. Walked Hampson, gave up a base hit to Gerardo Parra as a pinch hitter. Oh no, he walked Hampson, then got Parra to fly out. after the Rockies batted around in that inning. Blackmon has been hit by a pitch. He scored a run. He had a base hit his last time up. 3 D-back defenders on the first base side against him. Four runs, 6 hits for the Rockies. They've left 8. Just 1 run on 1 hit for the Diamondbacks. They've committed 1 error. Throwing error by I believe that was an E6 back in the first inning, right?
Yeah.
Throwing error by Nick Ahmed back in the first.
Yeah, that was that tough long hop that Goldie couldn't quite corral. It got by him.
That was off the bat of LeMahieu, who's on deck. 1-2 on Charlie Blackmon. Big D-backs fan in Fort Mojave, Arizona, Colleen Collegy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Colleen. Loves the D-backs, watches all the games on TV. So she's watching the Diamondbacks right now in Fort Mojave. This is driven deep to left field. Peralta backing up, and he's got it on the warning track. Slicing away from David. He runs it down just shy of the bullpen.
Slicing away and hit hard. Chases David back onto the warning track right there. That ball slicing away from him the entire time off the left-handed bat of Charlie Blackmon. Nice running catch that time by David.
Here is DJ LeMahieu. Well, if you're looking to sign DJ LeMahieu, who heads into free agency this year, what do you make of him as a free agent? Because he's hit, let's see, this year 324 at Coors Field, 225 away from Coors Field. That seems to be a big question for him. As this one has popped up, shallow center. I mean, he's a very good defensive second baseman. He's a very steady player. But boy, away from Coors Field for a whole season, not sure what the numbers would be like. There's Nolan Arenado now. Arenado has walked twice and scored a run. He's 0 for 1. Nolan Arenado has something very much in common with our own Dennis Lamb.
Really?
Yeah, star of the Dennis Lamb Show. Nolan Arenado's there's Dennis Lamb. Nolan Arenado's father Fernando left Cuba when the family was just a boy. They eventually settled in the Anaheim area. We've told this story before. They lived right near Angel Stadium, and so Fernando Arenado named his son after Angels pitching star Nolan Ryan. And Dennis Lamb has a son named Nolan for the same reason. His middle name is Ryan, right? Yeah, Nolan Ryan Lamb. How about that?
Well, Nolan's not real happy right now.
No, he's not, and he's got a point. Marvin Hudson, the crew chief, is our plate umpire tonight.
Starvin Marvin, I'm in his book.
What'd you do?
He got me at Shea Stadium one time. Day game, a getaway day. It's 1,000,000 degrees and the humidity's about the same at Shea. And had a pickoff play at second base, and Craig Counsell, I mean, this was before the days of review and replay and all this stuff, and he looked into the dugout immediately. And when Counts registered surprise like that, that tells me that he thought we had the guy out. So I ran out to argue and could see rather quickly I was going to get nowhere with it. So I asked Marvin, Marvin, are you okay?
Come on.
No, really, Marvin, are you all right? It's hot out here. The sun's beating down on your head all afternoon. I'm worried about you because that's about the only way I can figure you could miss a call that badly.
Well, it's just concerned about him, that's all.
Just about his health.
That was it?
That was it. I was gone. Yeah.
Just ungrateful, that's all. Go out there to check out, make sure he's okay. Umpires aren't big on sarcasm.
No, not at all.
How about Jimmy Sherfy going to the slow curveball? Now everybody's got that pitch. He works a 1-2-3-6. Antonio Senzatella, D-backs down 4-1. Well, the NL West rival Dodgers are coming in here Monday. Our final home series of the regular season. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yasiel Puig and company will be here. And we need you with us. D-backs and Dodgers. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. Dodgers right now lead the Padres 6-0 in the third inning in LA. D-backs are 6 games back of the Dodgers NL West lead with only 8 games to play. Counting tonight, they trail this one 4-1. Avila grounded out his first time. Socrates Brito in the on-deck circle. He will hit for Jimmy Sherfy. Boy, Sherfy broke off a nice slider against Arenado. Didn't get the call, just missed it off the corner. And then dropped that slow curve in there at 71. So Jimmy Sherfy looking good here tonight. Avila back up the box and into center, leadoff single. D-backs starting to get to Senzatella, and that's just their second base hit.
Now Avila sends one right back where it came from that time. Humpback line drive up the middle of the field. Socrates Brito will now take the at bat for Jimmy Sherfy in that 9 spot.
And Brito singled as a pinch hitter last night. Batting average right at an even 200 now. He hangs one here. Brito will drive it. Got that changeup down and away. Socrates 3-for-8 since his latest recall from Reno. And he had a nice year with the Aces this year. Hit about 320. 17 home runs, stole 15 bases. Just turned 26 years old earlier this month. Silvino Bracho warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen as Brito hits for sure feet. Bracho was up a couple of times in the ball game late last night. Did not get into the game. Oh, got a fastball right down the middle and missed it. 1-2. Upside down. I thought that was a Brenly shirt for a minute 15. Ways off the curveball. 2-2.
As tough as the hits have been to come by for the Diamondbacks offensively, as I mentioned last half inning, they're only trailing by 3 runs in this game. Occasionally when the opposing pitcher is as dominating as Senzatella was early, it feels more lopsided.
Socrates lines it to Hampson, who makes a tremendous play at shortstop. That one might have got into the gap in left center.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Socrates should have had at least a base hit there, maybe more. Instead, it's 1 out. Here's Jay, who's 0 for 2. Cell phone lights looking for some offense around the ballpark here. Big crowd with us tonight, better than 35,000 on hand. Up the middle, off the mound. Hampson's there. LeMahieu for 1, and they turn the double play. A big hang with a inning for the Diamondbacks, who trail it 4-1.
Fastball away to start the sequence. Hung a bad breaking ball upstairs there, right there. A little half swing and then just goes to work on that outside corner. Fastballs, breaking balls, everything away. Another fastball out there and then a hanging breaking ball that gets a swing and a miss on strike 3. Probably not the location he was looking for, but very effective nonetheless. Our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game.
And now as we start the 7th inning, D-backs trailing 4-1. Silvino Bracho is on for the bullpen. He'll face Matt Holliday and Desmond. Chris Iannetta 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Rockies. Rockies got all 4 of their runs in the 3rd against Patrick Korbin, who lasted only 3 innings today. A.J. Pollock's solo homer in the 5th, the only Diamondback run so far. Holiday 0 for 2 with a walk. Mark Field, here we go. There it is.
Nice.
Oh, the backhander. Nicely done, Mark. That's Mark Field of Dreams, our Golden Glover down the left field line. And there is the veteran Ron Pennington, waiting to pounce. A little zip on that fastball from Bracho. He's ahead 0-2. I just learned something from Mike Bauer in between innings here at the ballpark. Of course, Mike, the lovely Mike Bauer of Mike and Vanessa fame, entertaining the crowd here. You can learn a lot from Mike if you pay attention. I heard him refer to Dutch brothers as Dutch bros here in the ballpark. Now, Dutch Bros just opened up this year. It's been a tremendous success here at Chase Field. People love the coffee and the drinks and the whole thing. But it reminded me of a letter we got from Terrence Traylor not too long ago, who said, you guys keep referring to Dutch Bros as Dutch brothers. And he said, to help steer you guys in the right direction, for each of you, I have included a Dutch Bros coupon for free, any size, drink of your choice. Enjoy. Go D-back. Signed, Terrence Traylor from Tempe. Well, Terrence, first of all, thank you very much.
Yeah.
He sent us 2 of the cards. You know, when you get it punched or stamped or whatever, 2 cards, and they're all stamped.
Wow.
So we're good to go. He's hooked us up.
Way to go, T squared.
There you go. But I did not know, I feel like a dope, of course, that it's not Dutch brothers, it's Dutch bros.
Well, now we know.
Good. You learn something at the ballpark every day. Dutch bros. I don't know. I just thought it was short for brothers, but the cool kids are saying bros.
I guess.
Now we're part of the cool club for once. Fastball right there. Bracho rings him up. Boy, that's good though. You ever go down there in the morning?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Dutch bros. Got to get used to saying that.
What about former Rockies left-hander Rex Bros?
Oh look! Oh my goodness, dude! How did you know? This was not staged. Thanks, man.
It's a caramelizer from Dutch Bros.
A caramelizer.
Not Dutch Brothers.
How? Why isn't it? But it says, look, Dutch BROS with a period. As Descalso gets to that one. I just assumed that was short for brothers. But all the cool kids are saying Dutch bros. How about this? The lovely Mike.
This is an iced tea.
Iced tea. Okay. That's allowed.
Oh, that's good.
Good stuff.
See, this is going to start a
Dutch
Diamondback
bros.
rally now with Dutch bros.
There you go. Rally Bros.
Seriously, how did you know I was going to read that? I had no clue. I just picked up the letter. I heard you say that. And I said, wait, it's bros. And then I thought, oh, we got a letter from a guy who said, you got to stop saying Dutch brothers.
It's good. It's good. Very smart D-backs fans. I like that. You're very smart.
I smell a rat. Something's up. Seriously, I did not know you were going to do that.
He's been standing outside the booth with a coffee every day waiting for you to read that letter.
Way to seize the moment. I think the crew, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're Terrence, right? Well, if Leo Gilmartin can send us his own letter and pretend it's someone else, I guess Mike can do that. Do you know Terrence Traylor from Tempe? Look at this letter. Seriously. It's on D-back stationery. That probably should have been my first clue. I've heard you guys refer to Dutch bros as Dutch brothers.
Nailed it. That looks just like my typing.
I'm going to have the signature analyzed. Boy, Silvino Braccio, good changeup right there. 1-2. Our thanks to Terrence and the lovely Mike.
Very nice.
Were you in on this?
Not at all. Not at all.
Michelle? All right. She says no.
Terrence just has that kind of power over the employees here at the ballpark.
Well, he's mailing everybody free coupons, so yeah. This is good. Silvino Braccio, a very impressive 7th inning. We stretch here in the land of Dutch Bros. D-backs down 4-1.
Players, they talk about baseball and life and college football, and so Torey Lovullo and Archie Bradley had a little bet on Oklahoma UCLA a couple weeks ago, and Archie said, well, we had to make it fair, so it was with the spread. Well, unfortunately for Archie,
oh wow,
yeah, the Sooners, they won by 28. The spread was 30, I guess. And,
that's cold.
He didn't like wearing it, guys. He didn't love it. You know what, though? Oklahoma, they almost were the victim of a big upset today. So
I will say this for Archie, that one may be the total number of UCLA victories this year, because they are not good.
Chip Kelly's trying to win the day, win a game. It might not happen for a while.
Now, Jody, while we have you here,
yes,
congratulations on winning not one but 2 Emmy Awards tonight, BB. Jody won 2.
I'm still in shock. Thank you, guys.
It's a Jody Jackson sweep.
I'd like to thank you guys for helping make it happen.
Do you have a place on the mantle? Is there a bookshelf where you collect your Emmy Awards that you're going to add to the total?
We're going to need some more shelves, apparently.
How about that, huh?
Yeah, a lot of good wins tonight, like you mentioned earlier. Our co-worker Brad Weiner.
Now, don't try and deflect. It's all about you. We don't care about those guys.
I heard your diva conversation.
Oh, we were just having some fun.
I couldn't get any harder to work with, could I?
Well, we'll find out.
Just kidding. Come on.
In all seriousness, congratulations. Outstanding job.
Thank you very much. You can send some Dutch Bros down.
There you go.
See, it's Bros. See, everybody knew this but us. Escobar trying to dunk one in front of Holiday. It drops in for a base hit. Parra's out there. Defensive change. And here we go. That's the 3rd hit for the Diamondbacks. A leadoff single in the 7th. So Parra, the only defensive change for Bud Black so far. And the batter is David Peralta. There's the former D-back great, Gerardo Parra. Peralta has grounded out twice. He's 0 for 2. Good changeup from Senzatella. Left it up just a bit, but Peralta missed it 0-1.
Well, this is a different Senzatella than the Diamondbacks have seen in previous starts this year. He's used a lot of off-speed pitches tonight, whether it's a straight changeup or the big curve ball. I mean, when we've seen him in the past, it's just been one power fastball after another. When he got to 2 strikes, you might see a hard slider, but really mixing in his 3rd and 4th best secondary pitches tonight.
Well, David pokes it out there. Here comes Parra. Got a late break, but he runs it down. And hung up there long enough for him to get underneath. 1 away, and here comes Goldie. Senzatella, who's never had any luck against the Diamondbacks, as we mentioned earlier. It's been rough going for him. 7 appearances, 3 starts, 0-4 with a 7.66 ERA. He's been knocked around by the D-backs, but so far he's worked 6 1/3 of 1-run ball. Goldie 0 for 2. High in the air. It'll hang up in right center. Blackmon calling off Dahl. 2 outs. Here's Descalso. Descalso so far against Senzatella has struck out twice. Boy, Senzatella trying to get through 7. He's still under 75 pitches at this point. D-backs have really helped him out. He's not walked a batter. He struck out 4. Fastball misses away.
Coming into this inning, he'd faced 19 batters. 9 of them were retired on 3 or fewer pitches.
Wow.
Had 8-0-2 and 1-2 counts in the ball game. Been on top of his game. This is good as we've seen Antonio Senzatella.
He's got Goldie twice on the first pitch of the at-bat. This is line to center. Blackmon is there. Through 7, D-backs trail the Rockies 4-1. Appreciation Day is coming up tomorrow, September 23rd at Chase Field. You can win great prizes all game long. Stick around after the game and run the bases as we conclude our season series with the Rockies. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. Going to be a big day down here tomorrow. Zach Godley against Kyle Freeland. That's the healthy stuff in there. Boy, is that a great seat or what in there? Down in the suites. David Dahl leads off the 8th.
Don't forget, after tomorrow's ball game, you can go down and run the bases, and for every fan that steps on home plate after running the bases, another $1 will be donated to Phoenix Children's Hospital. So a great chance to get down on the field and see what the players see from down there at field level, and also to help raise some money for PCH.
Great point. D-backs have the overshift on the first base side against Dahl, who has walked. He's got an RBI single. Fan Appreciation Day is always a big day here at the ballpark, and we want to thank all our viewers who have hung in with us all year long on Fox Sports Arizona, D-backs TV. Our tremendous crew has done a great job all year long, as always, bringing you Diamondbacks baseball. And we appreciate all our fans who've dropped us a line. We got one letter the other day, Bob, that mentioning Fan Appreciation Day. It's from Emma Fenton in Surprise. And Emma faithfully watches every D-backs game. And Emma, we know you're watching the Diamondbacks right now. And this takes you into a more cheery and kind of normal time in your life. We know you've been a devoted D-backs fan this year. You've had some difficult moments to deal with, and you know what they are. But Emma Fenton in Surprise. Emma, thank you for the lovely letter that you sent Bob and I, and we wish you nothing but good things. All the best watching Diamondback baseball, and thank you very much.
On behalf of the Diamondbacks, thanks for your support, Emma. We really do appreciate it.
She wrote us a beautiful letter, and she's been going through a tough time, and we want to know that we want her to know that we're behind her. Full count on Dahl, 3-2. Dodgers still lead the Padres. They're in the 5th now in Los Angeles. Still 6-0 Dodgers. This is going to stay playable if they can get to it. Peralta near the line, away from the shift. Well, the Rockies, Bob, they got that 4-run third against Patrick Korbin, and since the 3rd inning they've had 1 base hit, and that was Blackmon who led off the 4th. So the D-back bullpen, Delgado, Sherfy, and Bracho have done an outstanding job keeping the Diamondbacks in this ball game.
Yeah, we mentioned that when Torrey went to the bullpen. Their job now is to try to hold the Rockies right where they're at and give your offense a chance to creep back into this ball game. And once again, it's only a 3-run deficit.
Hampson with that speed trying to bunt his way on. Nice play by Silvino Bracho to get him.
Silvino gets off that mound quickly. A little push bunt attempt to the right side. He started to come straight in and then change directions to go to his left to scoop that ball up and shovel on to Goldie for the easy out.
And that's going to end the night for Antonio Senzatella. Ryan McMahon will hit for the Rockies pitcher after Senzatella worked 7 innings of 1-run ball, gave up only 3 hits. McMahon announced, here comes Torey Lovullo, who's got a lefty ready in his bullpen. It's Andrew Chaffin. And Chaffin is on his way in to face the lefty McMahon. D-backs trail the Rockies 4-1. We're in the 8th inning. Back after this. Tomorrow, D-backs Spanish broadcast is back. The finale of this Rockies series on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. The great Oscar Soria And Rodrigo Lopez will have coverage in Spanish. It starts at 1 o'clock, presented by your Valley Honda dealers and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. You can find your Plus channel listing at foxsportsarizona.com. Andrew Chaffin, the left-hander, on to face the pinch hitter Ryan McMahon. Base is empty, 2 down in the 8th inning. McMahon heading for the pitcher Antonio Senzatella.
And no counter move by Rockies manager Bud Black, because McMahon hits .345 against left-handed pitching, only .209 against righties. Completely backward splits for McMahon.
And Andrew Chaffin has got himself in the record books, his 75th appearance this year. He had been tied with Randy Choate, who made 74 appearances back in '04, most appearances by a D-backs left-hander. So Chaffin is also, by the way, second on that list. He appeared in 71 ball games last year. One and one on Ryan McMahon. Fastball's in there for a strike. Yeah, McMahon 10 for 29 against lefties this year with 1 homer. Former second-round pick by the Rockies out of high school in Santa Ana, California. Fastball just missed a little low. 2-2. Blackmon on deck. Ouch. Alex Avila. Right on the knee.
Right off the top of the right kneecap. You see that little extension pad there that covers the gap between the one that protects the bottom of the quad muscle and the top of the shin. That little extension right there over the top helps a little bit.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Well, you don't want to get into a full count against McMahon if you can help it. Here's the 2-2. Got him. Chaffin went to the slider, strikes out his man, sends us to the home half, down 4-1.
Working for him tonight. Just fastball location for the most part. Also, his slider location wasn't very good. Just battled that really all night. Fell behind, heavy counts, pitch count got out of hand and they got him out there in the 3rd inning.
All right, we'll break that down and so much more. That's coming up after this game tonight. Diamondbacks Live, guys. We'll send it back to you, and we'll see you in a bit.
Okay, guys, thanks. Second night in a row, Adam Ottavino is on to start the 8th inning for the Rockies. A.J. Pollock, who homered his last time up off Antonio Senzatella, leads it off for the Diamondbacks. Ottavino came on to start the 8th last night, gave up a single to Socrates Brito, the pinch hitter, and then got 3 outs. Out there with a 4-1 lead.
Boy, AJ really timed up this Senzatella curveball, just kind of hung in the middle of the plate for him. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing, cool play of the game. That's been it offensively for the Diamondbacks tonight. The solo blast off the bat of AJ Pollock.
D-backs 1 run on 3 hits. The homer, AJ's 19th of the year. And second on this homestand, down 0-2. Numbers on Adam Ottavino, a key member of this bullpen, his 72nd appearance of the year. Last night it was Ottavino to get 3 outs in the 8th, and Wade Davis got the final 3 outs in the 9th. Fastball just off the plate. AJ caught looking. Marvin Hudson rings him up. Brings up Nick Ahmed. Nick still looking for his first base hit in this series. 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out twice. High in the air to left. Parra has plenty of room. 2 down. Alex Avila now. Alex singled up the middle his last time up. Pitcher spot is behind Avila. And Ketel Marte is in the on deck circle. He would hit for Andrew Chaffin.
I don't think anybody that's watched the Diamondbacks all season would call them a home run dependent team, but that's been the case throughout this homestand. They've scored 14 runs, 12 of them via the home run.
Just a broken bat. Tapper. LeMahieu cleans it up. Ottavino works a 1-2 3/8. It's still 4-1 Colorado.
Man, the pinch hitter for the pitcher spot started him with a fastball for a called strike, missed with the slider low and away, and then it's just a series of fastballs until he gets to the 2-strike count. where he shows the slider once again. The first one was out of the strike zone early in the sequence. The last one right on the corner for a swinging strike three. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Well, Alex Avila made the final out of the bottom of the 8th inning, so Torey Lovullo did not have to hit for his pitcher. And so with Blackmon leading off the Colorado 9th, he sends Chaffin back out there to get the lefty. You've got Brad Boxberger warming up in the Diamondback bullpen with right-hand batters behind Blackmon and LeMahieu and Arenado. So this might be it for Chaffin. Blackmon has been hit by a pitch, singled, and scored a run. Just a little dunk shot that drops in very shallow left, and Blackmon's aboard to start the 9th. Got jammed and turned it into a base hit, and now LeMahieu will be the hitter. And looking for Torey Lovullo. Here he comes. Brad Boxberger on his way in back after this. Dunk leadoff single against Andrew Chaffin. So here comes the right-hander Brad Boxberger to face DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, and then after that Gerardo Parra, Brad's 58th appearance of the year. D-backs running out of time here, not only in this game but in this season. Right now they are 6 back of the Dodgers NL West Division lead. LA at home tonight leading San Diego 6-0. They're in the 6th inning. So if those 2 scores hold, the D-backs will be 7 back with 7 to play. And they will be 7 back in the wild card as well. The Cardinals got a walk-off home run from Tyler O'Neill. They beat the Giants in St. Louis today. LeMahieu singled in the first. He's 1 for 4. Blackmon at first, nobody out. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. 1 run, 3 hits for the Diamondbacks. This is by Ahmed, hit hard into left. First 2 have reached in the Colorado 9th.
Third baseman, Nolan Arenado.
And Arenado steps in. He's walked twice and scored a run. He's 0 for 2.
Find a way to stop the bleeding right now. Diamondbacks will have a pinch hitter and then the top of the order up in the bottom half of the 9th inning, but got to put a 0 up there right now here in the top of the 9th.
Arenado, Parra, Desmond, the next three due up for the Rockies. Arenado so far just one hit in the series, a single in the ball game last night. Blackmon at second, LeMahieu at first. Punches this one down the line and out of play. Fastball a little low, 2 balls and a strike. Fastball away again, and again it's foul near the guy in the Astros jersey. Boy, that jersey really stands out. That classic old Terry Poole, Cesar Cedeno Astros rainbow jersey. This is the Craig Biggio edition, but you can see that guy from a mile away. He's got the orange watch to match. You catch that?
I did notice that. Very coordinated.
Yeah. 2-2. This is lifted out to right center. AJ is there. Blackmon is at second. He'll tag. LeMahieu heads into second. The throw rolls away and everybody's safe. They had a play on LeMahieu. There was no way they were going to get Blackmon, but then it bounced away after the relay.
I think AJ was fooled a little bit by how hard that ball was hit. He had to retreat several steps there before making the play, and LeMahieu decided he could advance 90 feet first to second, given the fact that AJ was so deep out there in right center field. Rockies now have him at second and third for Gerardo Parra.
The former Diamondback great. 281, 5 homers. And with first base open, they're going to put him on and hope to get a double play out of Ian Desmond, which is exactly how Patrick Korbin got out of a bases loaded jam with 1 out in the first inning. Desmond hit into a 5-4-3 double play. Desmond hits the ball on the ground more frequently than any hitter in baseball. About 62% of the time. Left the fastball up, but he missed it. 0-1. Desmond has not homered since August 23rd, so it's been a month. And he's homered only once in his last 53 games. Funny thing is, he's got 20 homers. 14 of them have come on the road, which is backwards. He plays at Coors Field. Blackmon's at third, LeMahieu at second, Parra at first.
Boy, that one spun Alex Avila all the way around in a circle. He did a 360 that time.
On the tilt-a-whirl.
Gets out there on that outside pitch, plants that shin guard, and spins all the way around.
Boxberger looking for the ground ball right here. Oh, man. Well, he's leaving some fastballs in some bad spots. 2-2. Desmond missed another one.
talked about Boxberger in the past. That fastball 91, 92. Occasionally he'll bump it up to 93, but it's straight as a string, and he'll throw it right down the middle of the strike zone and get swings and misses on that pitch.
It is amazing.
He just a little quicker than he looks. A very deceptive, very nice, easy, smooth delivery, and then 91 seems to lock up opposing hitters.
Late time granted by Marvin Hudson. Got that one in just a bit more. Still 2-2. Same two teams tomorrow. Our series finale, Fan Appreciation Day here at Chase Field. Zach Godley against lefty Kyle Freeland. D-backs right now trailing the season series with Colorado. Rockies lead 9-8. Bounced a changeup up there, and it's full 3-2. Chris Iannetta on deck. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Check swing foul. Dodgers now lead San Diego 7-1. They're in the bottom of the 6th in Los Angeles. Cardinals beat the Giants earlier today 5-4 in extra innings. One more time on 3-2. Bounced up the middle. Ahmed coming home. They get the force, and they'll settle for 1 as Blackmon is cut down at the plate.
A good decision there by Nick. It was really the only play he had was to come straight ahead to home plate and cut off that run at home. That was going to be a tough double play attempt to shovel that ball back over his left shoulder to Daniel Descalso covering the bag. So Nick does the proper thing, throw home and cut off that run.
So it stays 4-1, 2 down now for Iannetta. Chris has singled twice, scored a run, knocked in 2. Lays off the changeup. It's 1-0. Missed away with a fastball. 2-1. Iannetta, as we know, a patient hitter. He can really work the count. Saw that all last year. Long at bats if you don't throw him strikes.
Diamondbacks might want to think about a potential pickoff at second base. We know Gerardo Parra can create some excitement on the bases. Let's just put it that way. Right now, Diamondbacks middle infielders split wide apart, allowing Parra to get a big lead out there at second base. Could possibly bait him into taking an extra step or two and then do that spin move to second base and try to pick him off.
Well, Avila tried to make that fastball look like a strike, but Marvin Hudson didn't bite, and now Boxberger's behind 3-1. Still nobody near Parra on the bag at second. He walked in a run. (5-1) Colorado. Batter now is David Dahl. He had an RBI single in the third. Shift is on. In the air along the line. Here comes Peralta on the run. He's got it. Bottom 9 on the way. D-backs down 5-1. The freight train full speed ahead makes a nice sliding grab. One. And on for the Rockies, the closer Wade Davis, who got the final 3 outs of last night's ball game after giving up a Goldie double. His 66th appearance of the year. Marte, J. Escobar due up 9-1-2.
Del Marte 2 for 4 lifetime against Wade Davis. He's also drawn a walk. Need a runner right now.
Well, Marte, 252, a dozen homers. He'll get it started. Rockies 5 runs, 8 hits. They've left 11 runners on base. Diamondbacks 1 run, 3 hits. They've left 1. Marte had the night off last night. He has homered twice in his last 4 games. High in the air to center. Easy play for Blackmon.
We talked last night briefly about this Rockies bullpen and the dumpster fire that it was in the first half of the season, but Wade Davis has been immune since August 10th. 12 appearances, 12 innings. He's given up 1 run, struck out 19, walked only 1 over that stretch.
Well, you know, they found guys they could finally learn to depend on. Ottavino has been very good. I know Oberg gave up the big hit by Puig the other night, but he's had a very good last couple of months. After it was just one disaster after another with Brian Shaw and Jake McGee and some of those guys, they have at least solidified the back end for the most part. But the question is, did they do it in time? Rockies, if they hang on and win this one, will, assuming the Dodgers hang on and beat the Padres, will still be Colorado a game and a half back in both the division and the wild card. That's the score from LA right now. Rich Hill still pitching for the Dodgers. 1-1 on John Jay. Rally cap set to go. I like where your head's at. Make sure that thing. Yep, there you go. That's better. Yeah, that's much better. Mayhew from the outfield grass. Webby and Todd standing by. D-backs Live post-game show follows our ball game. Series finale tomorrow. Diamondback Live pregame show at 12:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Zach Godley against Kyle Freeland. After tonight for Torey Lovullo's Diamondbacks, only 7 games to go. The season ends, the regular season ends a week from tomorrow. And D-backs, unless something changes, will be 7 back with 7 to play.
It certainly doesn't get any easier tomorrow. Kyle Freeland, a 15-game winner, ERA under 3 on the season. He's been really good for the Rockies.
And Zach Godley will look for his 15th win. That to me has been, Bob, the story of the Rockies in 2018. That young rotation slowly and maybe finally starting to figure it out and get together and do something. I know John Gray's had a miserable year, but Freeland has been great. Marquez has been dominant at times. They're starting to come together in Colorado in terms of the pitching.
And Senzatella has shown some signs from time to time, like tonight, that he can be a dominating pitcher when everything's working well for him.
They got to get Gray figured out. He's been a disaster. They skipped him in this series. Lazy fly ball to left. Parr is out there. And the Rockies have taken the first 2 games of this series. And the Diamondbacks drop it 5-1. And at the end of the night, they could find themselves 7 games back in the NL West with only 7 to play.
Well, it may be too little too late, but you'd really like to see the Diamondbacks offense show some signs of life before the end of this season. Another night, 3 base hits, 1 run on a solo homer by A.J. Pollock. Got to do better than that.
D-backs have lost 11 of their last 14 games. They are 5-15 in September. They have lost 16 of their last 21. 5-1 the final here. Webby standing by with Tom.
Steve, thank you very much. And Brandon, those numbers that Steve and Bob just put out are sobering, to say the least. But I still want to go back to, I think, what our topic will be when we begin the post-game show in a couple of minutes, and that's Patrick Korbin. We gave him what we thought was a nice little send-off for his last start here at Chase Field of the season. I don't think he was paying attention.
I don't think this was what anybody was expecting out of Patrick Korbin tonight. Shortest outing of the year for him. Just disappointing to see what maybe, hopefully not, his final start here at Chase.
So we will break it down and look at some of the numbers in terms of the pitches that he threw and how they set up and how maybe the Rockies went after him. And we'll do that when we come back. Diamondbacks Live. The post-game show is around the corner as our coverage continues here on Fox Sports Arizona. Bob Brenly awaits as well. Jody Jackson going inside the Arizona Diamondbacks clubhouse, and we'll hear from skipper Torey Lovullo. Diamondbacks drop the first 2 here to Colorado as the Rockies try to fight for that National League West. We'll go to Dodger Stadium in LA as well and update the Dodgers and Padres. But first, these commercial messages.